some other useful registrations that will come in handy, particularly when you're playing music of a particular era, for example, Baroque music. Many of Bach's preludes and fugues and some of his chorale preludes are written for organo pleno. Sometimes that's written on the score. But what does organo pleno mean? It's not a single stop, but it's a combination of stops. And on different organs, it can be different things, because all organo pleno means is full organ. So, does that mean pull out all the stops? Well, not exactly. It means use all of the bright foundational stops. So we start with the diapasons. If we pull out all of the diapason stops on the great and swell, so 8-foot diapasons, 4-foot principal, the 12th, the 15th, and the mixture. And we pull out something similar on the swell, open diapason 8, 4-foot principal, 15th, and the mixture. We couple them together using the swell to great. We now get this bright full organ sound. Even though we've 3 manuals here, you may have noticed from the couplers that we can't couple them all together. So we can't couple the choir and great together. So the fullest full organ we can get here is by coupling the great and swell together. Now, you might ask, why not add the flutes to that? Well, there's a perfectly practical reason. If you add the flutes, they don't really add very much to that sound, because the brightness of the diapasons just overshadows them. So you can add them if you like, but it won't really make much effect to that sound. Now, full organ essentially means a chorus with all the principal stops. It may also mean the bright reed stops. It may also mean 16-foot stops if you have them on the manual. Here we don't have a 16-foot open diapason on the manual. Let's try full organ with the diapasons, the mixtures, and also the trumpet. So here it is without the trumpet, and with the trumpet. So it's a much more exciting sound when you add the trumpet. So when you see organo pleno, it could mean a number of different things. Perhaps you have a very small organ and you only have 8, 4, and 2 principals on the great. You don't have any mixtures, you don't have any reeds. Well then, that will have to be your full organ. 8, 4, and 2. It's certainly less bright and less exciting than the full sound that I used before, but if that's all you have, that's the best you can do. And that's just as good an organo pleno sound for Bach as the first sound I used here. In romantic music, you'll very often be asked to use 8-foot stops in various combinations. This creates a smooth and slightly thick texture, which I suppose is quite like the sound of strings in the orchestra. And this may be your accompaniment to a solo stop, which may well be a reed, which imitates the effect of the orchestral sonority. So we could use on the swell 3 8-foot stops, open diapason, flute, and solitional. And we can couple swell to pedal, and we can also put on the bourdon on the pedal to give some deep resonance, a little bit like the double basses would be adding in the orchestra. And then we can use a solo clarinet. So here we are. So it's not a perfect imitation of the orchestra plus a solo clarinet. That was a little excerpt from the Mozart Clarinet Concerto slow movement, but it's a pretty convincing substitute. So again, we can use approximations of orchestral sonorities by being creative with the stops we choose.